What's up, paleontologists? So I just beat Project Ferocious here on YouTube, where I stream whatever it is I'm playing, and I just wanted to share some of my thoughts from my playthrough. But real quick before we get into it, my playthrough of Ferocious was very linear. I didn't spend much time looking through every nook and cranny, for every secret and every little pathway. So with that out of the way, here are my notes in no particular order. So I guess first, let's start off with some background. Ferocious is a survival adventure FPS game that was developed by Oh My Og and published by tinyBuild in December 2025 on Steam. My experience of Ferocious can best be described using a Venn diagram made up of The Forest, Far Cry 2, Peter Jackson's King Kong, and F.E.A.R. And overall, I thought it was a worthwhile FPS experience that I just want to see come back for another entry. One last thing before getting into my thoughts about Ferocious, I want to set the table and say that this game is still getting routine updates that dramatically improved my experience. I don't think that the mixed reviews the game has right now on Steam are representative of the game itself. I think it's more representative of a lot of people's experience trying to run the game. For example, when I first started the game, there were like no graphic options and you had to use upscaling. Since then, the graphic options have been expanded, and I know that they've also added controller support and probably a bunch of other bug fixes here and there. So beware that any oddities you might see in my gameplay may be changed by the time you watch this video or play the game. Anyways, let's get more into my notes. Now let's jump into the story of Ferocious. The story follows two brothers escaping from what I believe is some kind of war. While escaping, their boat is capsized, and they end up getting stuck on an island with dinosaurs and mercenaries. In my experience, Ferocious' story is nothing more than an excuse to move the player from one location to another, and it's also a critique of a super rich tech guy with lots of money and no morals. That being said, I did think that the voice acting and overall story worked really well. The only gripe I had with it was that at certain points it almost felt like the subtitles and voice acting might have been like sequence broken or something. In my playthrough, dialogue would feel like conversations would take huge leaps and parts seemed to be omitted. In addition to this, the subtitles didn't always match what was being said. However, I really want to make it clear that I don't think that any of this is an actual problem, since at the end of the day, the game has incredible high points, and I don't think most players are playing Ferocious and expecting some life-changing cinematic experience. I think gamers just want more dinosaurs in games. Couple free ideas on screen right now in case anybody's listening. Steal them, they're all yours. It'd be fun. Anyway, let's get back to Ferocious. Piggybacking off Ferocious' story, let's talk about the moment-to-moment gameplay now. Ferocious is a level-based open-world experience, where every level is its own self-contained world, and the gameplay revolves around the player running from one end of that world to the other and back, probably multiple times, all while managing resources, taking down threats, and exploring for alternate paths. Real quick, the size of these levels is nothing at all to scoff at. In my playthrough, I don't think I fully explored any one of the levels, and I spent a good amount of time running around having no idea where to go without my map. But not really sure how to wrap that up. But yeah, the levels in this game are huge and really fun to explore. However though, it's the moments between all this running around I think is where Ferocious is the most fun, and that's during its combat. Anyways, I thought that the combat of Ferocious was extremely fun and I want to see more of it. It was an extremely fast-paced combat loop where prioritizing cover isn't required, and more often than not, ruthless aggression is your best option. All the weapons interact with the world and will either break what you're shooting at or create a flurry of effects that really make the weapons feel powerful, and I thought that this was a really fun way to allow the players to interact and change how a combat encounter can go by giving them tools to just destroy paths that NPCs would take. It also helps to create another level of immersion when I see my actions can also shape the world around me. And also, quick shout out real quick, all the physics props in this game that you can just walk into. We need a lot more of those in games. In addition to the weight of the weaponry, I thought that the NPCs in the game were really fun to fight against, both the human and dinosaur ones. The NPCs will bark, chirp, and move in a way that informs the player what the NPCs know about them. Like for example, if you break line of sight, mercenaries will say something like, "Anyone have eyes?" Or if you're sitting in one area, you may hear one yell, "I'm going around!" Or perhaps my favorite, when they notice the players on an elevated surface.
I have the high ground. You underestimate my power. Don't try it.
But enough about the mercenaries. let's talk about the dinosaurs. In Ferocious, I thought the dinosaurs were really well executed. I came across at least 10 different types of dinosaurs in my playthrough, and each one of them was different from the next in both look and function. And without spoiling too much about how each dinosaur behaves, I will say that they all function extremely well, and as a bonus, I noticed nearly every kill with them looks believable, and it's not just a generic chomp to a ragdoll death. Like the raptor will actually pounce on its prey and they'll go down in a believable manner. Sometimes a T-Rex will hold a kill in its mouth, and I swear I saw it do the Jurassic Park thing where it grabs it, tosses it up, but he just chomps them. Overall, I really enjoyed the dinosaurs. I want to give a specific shout out to the scariest ones in the game, those little wannabe face huggers and the scorpions. I thought that they were the worst because they're the only stealth predators in the game, and it's really uncomfortable. I found out when I was playing, being a small little guy on this big dinosaur island. So yeah, another free dinosaur game idea. Now I could just sit here for another couple minutes and just keep talking more about how the dinosaurs work, but like always, I think it's best for you to play Ferocious for yourself, just to see some really cool and cinematic experiences. And like I mentioned earlier, the scope of some of the moments in this game, with dinosaurs, mech suits, and mercenaries, are incredible highs that just leave the player wanting more. So yeah, not really too sure how to wrap the rest of this video up, but those are some of my thoughts on Ferocious. If you want to watch my playthrough, a link to the playlist will be in the description, and it might even be on screen somewhere now. Anyways, thanks for watching, take it easy.
Stay ready.